would tell myself that it's not a race, and to really spend a lot of time learning the basics and not skipping over details, probably understanding Jiu-Jitsu rather than rote learning it, so that you can apply the principles later down the track. I would probably drill as much as possible, specific train as much as possible from every position that you're unsure about, ask questions, watch videos, and just know that eventually you'll get your blue belt, and eventually you'll get your purple belt, and eventually you'll get your brown belt, and just remember that you only wear your belt once. So once you lose it, you'll never put it on again, apart if it's a white belt and you forget your belt and you get demoted. And it's like, it's really, I think it's such an achievement to get a blue belt, but it really actually doesn't matter, and I think you'll learn that after your purple and after your brown actually doesn't matter at all. Just have fun with it, enjoy it, you know, try not to cry.
First thing would be training. When I was a white belt, I only trained twice a week. Probably, if I looked back now, I probably would have done it more. I would have trained 4 times a week if I could, and probably got the training a little bit more into my head. I felt if I did 4 days of training instead of 2, probably would be able to come to terms with more of the technique instead of trying to strength things. And I think the second thing would be the thing that I did most coming from the gym, like a weights gym, then coming to Jiu-Jitsu, was I tried to strength everything. Everything was trying to pull the person towards me or get the person to where I wanted them to go, instead of actually going to where they were. Instead of trying to get an armbar by moving my hips and then turning and throwing the leg over, I was trying to pull the person down to me, trying to get that arm to where I want it to be. And I found that once I started learning the technique and found that I moved to where the person was, everything went a lot smoother. I started getting more success, not just with submissions, but with techniques in general. I'd play off what the person did to try and get what I wanted to go. It's just training, like lots and lots of patience, lots and lots of humbleness and training. Be humble.
Just to keep training and not get frustrated at the outcomes of what happens. You know, like in training, whether I'm training a competition or even just like social life, just keep training. Like you will get better and you will achieve things you can't imagine. It's really a magical thing, Jiu-Jitsu.
Don't be afraid to stop experimenting. Never stop trying something you've seen. Don't be afraid to go into a position that you're not familiar with. If your game, say you're an open guard player, you like a spider, you like a lasso, don't be afraid to go on top and try and pass. Don't be getting scared to get caught in triangles. You're never going to learn. The faster you fail, the better you're going to be, and ultimately the faster you're going to progress, obviously. Every single night try and come to training with something that you're going to try that's completely brand new. That will be obviously, like, let's say your half guard game, you're sweeping from half guard, it's awful. Get on it. Starts right every Monday night, that's half guard night. Tuesday night, that's going to be whatever night. Just come every night, have a goal in mind that you want to get better at something. Don't always come and play your lasso game. Don't always come and play your spider game. What happens when that purple belt that taps you 5 times a row past your guard and you're in side control and you don't know how to escape side control? You don't know 2 basic escapes on side because you're too busy playing your lasso. Just don't be afraid to go into positions that you're unfamiliar with and always try.
And working positions that you know you're bad at rather than trying to avoid them, because I did that once and I got to blue belt and I had a really shit guard, and then you feel embarrassed for being a blue belt with shit guard. So work all the things you're rubbish at more than the things you're good at, so that by the time you get a blue belt you're like well-rounded.
Alright, 3 things. 1, when you're injured, rest up properly. Don't fuck it up. 2, have fun. Doesn't matter. You roll better when you're having fun. 3, just keep going. Don't stop. Doesn't matter if it doesn't work, just keep training, keep coming, you'll eventually fall together. Easy stuff.
I think it's really important to find out what actually works for you. A lot of times, I knew when I started I was looking at a lot of things and techniques on YouTube, but found it wasn't actually good for my learning and good for my game. So, if in doubt, I would definitely ask your coach and follow your coach's instructions on what the potential best game is for you and try and work on that.
To not be a judgy cunt. And what I mean by that is don't compare yourself to other people, because that's just going to be a downward spiral. You're going to feel like you're not better than them, you don't deserve your belt, you don't deserve to be graded. Trust your professor and your coach to know that yes, you're good enough to grade, yes, you're good enough to have that stripe. So don't be a judgy cunt.
My best advice could be to any white belt, learn as much as possible, because basically you should not just go along with the dogma of what everyone's talking about. If you're interested in something, take it and learn it. Apply all your knowledge outside Jiu-Jitsu to Jiu-Jitsu. Learn how you learn, and then learn as much as possible. If you're audiovisual, if you're kinesthetic, learn how you learn and just don't stop rolling. The key is consistency. That's the best piece of advice I can give. Just take your own path and learn as much as possible. And be tough. And don't give up. Never give up!
So I'd say that the BJ community is a really big community with a big variation in different personalities and philosophies towards the game and styles in the game. And that's a really valuable thing because there's lots of awesome people you can meet and make friends with and find awesome training partners. So I think there's a real benefit to training around at different clubs that have different coaches with varied mindsets and styles, because you learn a lot. You get a different perspective on how to approach different situations, and it can really help you build your skill set quickly. It's also a great way to find people who you might click with in terms of styles or game philosophies that work really well for you, and that can be a really good opportunity to find the kind of style that you should be pursuing yourself.
My advice would be just to train wherever you want. These people say you shouldn't cross-train, or coaches will give you excuses as to why you shouldn't cross-train. It's all rubbish. Like, it's your journey, just enjoy it. Train wherever you want, go to wherever you think you need to go, and just enjoy the ride.
I'd say if you surround yourself with really supportive and committed people in Jiu-Jitsu, you'll train more than you would have imagined. Whereas if you're around, it depends which gym you're at and what you have access to. But the more people train around you, the more you'll want to train yourself.
The advice I would give myself, my white belt self, is discipline. Just keep to the discipline. I reckon passion fades, but discipline outlasts any passion. So it's always important to get mat time in, like you're looking for that 10,000 hours. So just making sure you've got the discipline to turn up to class, every single class. Do what your coach says, not what YouTube says or not what you've read in a book. Just learn what your coach says and drill what your coach says, and that'll make you an awesome jiu-jitsu guy.
Make sure you drill a lot, that's very important. Doing a technique once or twice is not enough, you actually have to do it enough that you don't have to think about it when you're rolling, so you can focus on how they're trying to defend and things, so that you can actually address that as opposed to like, where do I grip next? That should come naturally if you've drilled it a lot, and you focus on two other things. So just drill, get a lot of repetitions in. In terms of what moves you're choosing to learn, I think it's really, really important to watch a lot of competition footage. Try to emulate a high-level competitor or high-level competitors. But when you're choosing your move, don't just choose. Like, I think the most important thing is how high percentage is. So, what do you see happen the most? Like, how do people pass the guard most commonly? It's the most common way. People get sweeps and so on. So sometimes you might choose a competitor and they've got like one fancy move they do, and no one else in the jiu-jitsu world is doing it. To me, that might not be that high percentage of a move to learn, whereas if you choose something like a knee through pass or Toriando pass, X-guard sweep, single leg style sweep, you can see a whole bunch of high-level competitors using that. Their own little variations on it, but choose things that work a lot. Yeah, so if you see a fancy thing on YouTube and it looks really cool and it's flashy, have you actually seen anyone do that in competition? Because if you haven't, don't bother with it, in my opinion. You can learn it and it's cool, but you're probably much better spending your time working something that has shown to be effective. So be a bit scientific. Listen to your coach as well, assuming your coach is open-minded in terms of they're actually trying to stay up to date with jiu-jitsu. They should be able to help you out with the technique you want to work on. So generally, coaches will be quite good with that, and they can help you out developing your game and and listen to them. They will direct you hopefully away from techniques that aren't so hard to teach.
Tap pretty regularly. Compete as much as you can. I think that's it.